What up, Taco Guru? Under Siege is in the books. And we're going to talk about it, man. What a show. Let's get into it. What's going on, everybody? Thank you for being here. My name is Jesse, a.k.a. your very own one and only Chitown Smark, man. How's everybody feeling on this fantastic Saturday morning, man? The weather is great out there today, man. It's fantastic out here. At least it is here in Chicago, man. I hope it is wherever you are. Welcome to my very first review of an Impact pay-per-view, Under Siege 2023. What a show, man. What a show. It kind of, it over-delivered for me. It over-delivered for me, man. I mean, I expected, a little bit something better than the TV shows that we've been getting. So it's not like I set my expectations low. And they still managed to over-deliver, man. The in-ring work here in Impact, I believe it's a little underrated, man. I believe that the talent there have established themselves in other promotions. But I still feel like when they come over here to Impact, it's kind of like, forgotten about, gone to the wayside. I don't know. That shouldn't be the case. But I'm going to be honest, that's what it feels like here, man. We had a crazy show, man. We had the world title defended. Steve Macklin defended the world title against PCO in a match that I had zero interest in coming into. I'm not going to lie. Because it just felt like the match was predictable, overly predictable. We knew who was going to win. But on the flip side, the match still delivered, man. It absolutely delivered. We had the Knockouts women's title on the line here. As most of you have probably already have heard, Jordynne Grace is now a free agent per Fightful. And I think this is an awesome time in pro wrestling where when you're a free agent and you're a notable name in the wrestling community, it's a big deal. It's a big deal because you can go so many different places and you're not held to either one company or obscurity. With the day and age of social media, basically, we now have access to everything going on around the indies. And plus, there are other promotions out there with TV deals. So this is a fantastic time to be a pro wrestling fan. And it's a fantastic time for a wrestler to be a free agent. So good times, man. It's good times in pro wrestling. We're going to get into the show, man. We're going to get into the show. I want to read this. Membership by Guardian with the super chicken super chat, man. Interrupting the show. How dare you have Clucky interrupt my show, Guardian? Get to you in a second, bro. I want to get to Lord J. Coyle. Why? Because it looks like at the end of my streams, YouTube doesn't like to send me the messages for the members that re-up. So what I'll do is I'll stop and read the messages for the member re-ups, and I'll come back for the super Clucky chats. All right. Lord J. Coyle says, I don't watch Impact, but I just want to say, keep up the great work, Jesse, and you be live with JD, and will you be live with JD tomorrow night? Thank you, J. Coyle, for your 3 months membership, bro. And yes, I will absolutely be live tomorrow night for the Double or Nothing review with JD. Also, American rock star Patrick Palmer with the 1 month membership says, adrenaline in my soul. Clucky is better than Cody Rhodes. Hey, man. Hey. Clucky is better than everybody, bruh. Clucky is better than everyone. Especially Cody Rhodes. I love Clucky, man. How can you not like Clucky? Let's get into the show, man. We're going to start off with the Knockouts World Tag Team Championships on the line in the pre-show. We have the Coven, Taylor Wilde and Kylan King versus the Death Dolls, Jessica Havoc and Courtney Rush. Who's Courtney Rush? I don't know. Some new partner of Jessica because she seemed to can't find Rosemary. Rosemary went to the undead realm. Never came back, bruh. Can put her on the side of a milk carton, but she ain't here. And apparently she's not coming back. So we got Courtney Rush instead. All right. This is a quick match. You know, so is the next one. This is a pre-show. But I do like to cover it because it does have some continuity to it, which I can appreciate. Even the pre-match shows have story behind them. I can appreciate that. Rush and Wild starts it off. Rush gets the early momentum against Wild, but the powerhouse Kylan King comes in and puts an end to that. Jessica tags in, and she has a chop off with Kylan King, man. Two big hosses out there just chopping it off. If you're not familiar with Kylan King from AEW Dark, she is a big strapping girl, man. She is tall, she is big. Jessica also the powerhouse over here. They just chop away at each other. Taylor Wilde runs in and then inadvertently collides with her own partner. Rush attempts a sharpshooter, and Wilde puts King in a German suplex from behind. The Coven, they cut off the ring, and they began to wear Rush down. Rush gets a chance. She finally creates some separation and makes the tag to Jessica, who goes on the attack. Jessica hits a running splash on King. Jessica intercepts King as Rush locks in the sharpshooter and forces Wilde to submit. 7 minutes, and we have a winner, man. Courtney Rush wins. The Death Dolls take the W, and I don't know, man. I don't know. I guess this was a non-title match. It must have been a non-title match because we don't have new champions. So, yeah, man. I don't know. I don't know what's up with the champions losing like this, but I will say, you should have known that was coming when Courtney Rush made her big return to the company. I hear she's been gone for about 7 years, man. And here she's been gone for about 7 years. So he must have known that she was not going to come back to an L, right? Right. So there we go. Next match, we have Dirty Dango versus the digital media champion, Joe Hendry. The fuck was that? I don't know. Digital media champion versus Dirty Dango. Dango retreats to the outside as soon as the match starts, but Hendry catches up to him and delivers a running clothesline. They get back into the ring. Hendry hits a big power slam. He puts his power on display as he connects with a delayed vertical suplex, man. He had him in this vertical suplex for about 14 hours or so. He did some squats, and then he dropped him. Very impressive stuff. Very impressive stuff. Dango targets the leg of Hendry to turn the tides momentarily. Hendry comes back with a cutter out of the corner, followed by a fall-away slam. All right, Dango hits a low blow right in front of the referee, and right away, Joe Hendry gets the title, gets the win, and retains his title. The fuck? Why does that keep happening? I don't know. After the match, Dirty Dango continues the assault until the director of authority, Santino Marella, makes his big return. Marella is out for revenge because apparently it was Dirty Dango that killed him. There you go. There you go, man. Let's see. Next match. Nick Aldis versus Kenny King with Sheldon Jean. That is the start of the show. This is the very first match in the actual pay-per-view card. And let's get into it, man. We have Nick Aldis catching King mid-air and hits a vertical suplex. Jean tries to distract Aldis, but Aldis sees it coming. The fight spills to the outside where King sends him face first into the steel steps. King soars over the top rope, takes out Aldis on the floor. Aldis evades a springboard leg drop and then follows up with a pump handle fadeaway slam. Aldis is perched on the top, but King sends him toppling to the mat with the enziguri. Both men exchange shots in the middle of the ring, with King gaining the upper hand off of a power slam. Aldis connects with a top rope elbow drop, but Sheldon distracts the referee. Aldis knocks him off the apron, allowing King to gain control with a spine buster for a 2 count. Aldis hits a mid-air powerbomb and then locks in the Kingsley Cloverleaf for the submission win. 9 minutes, nothing crazy here. Nick Aldis is clearly being groomed for bigger things in Impact Wrestling. It looks to me like Nick Aldis is slowly but surely heading for Mr. Steve Macklin's title. We shall see. We have The Design, Deonna and Khan and Angels versus Sami Callihan, Rich Swann, and their mystery partner, Jake Christ. I'm very, very unfamiliar with Jake Christ, but apparently this is his big return to Impact. Let's see how it goes for him. All right. We have, let's see, Angels. Counters the Cactus Driver 97 from Callihan with an enziguri, then follows up with a dive to the outside. Christ is next to fly, but Khan swats him out of midair. Khan is being treated like a killer here. Connor from the Ascension. We all know Connor. We all know the Ascension from the original NXT days and then the failed main roster days. They were super mega stars in NXT, and they were absolute jobbers on the main roster, which is a shame because Connor alone in the last few weeks that I've seen him, they've shown him and spotlighted him very well. Very well, man. The guy carries himself well. He's a big guy that can move. He doesn't botch. And I think that's an important thing. When I say he doesn't botch, I don't mean he's never botched. He's not a frequent botcher. I think that's an important thing when you're a big guy. When you're a big guy and you're out there working with smaller guys, a botch from you could mean someone's career. So I think Connor's doing well for himself over here at Impact, man. I really do. Let's see. Callihan gives Christ a boost as he takes out Khan with a springboard moonsault. Callihan powerbombs Angels over the top rope into everyone onto the floor. Callihan, Christ, and Swann join forces in an attempt to take Khan off his feet. He is definitely that big guy who needs to be gangbanged to try to get him off of his feet, and that's how they treat him here in this particular spot. The pace quickens as Callihan dares Deonna to hit him. Then they exchange fists in the middle of the ring. He and Christ hit a double Death Valley driver on Angels and Deonna. Khan takes out Christ and Callihan with a double choke slam. Again, those big man moves, man. Angels soars with a top rope splash to Callihan, but it's not enough to keep him down. Swann delivers a double handspring cutter to Khan and Deonna. You know, and Swann also took a nasty bump. He took a nasty bump onto the ring apron earlier. They were on the outside of the ring, which, in case you guys did not know, is the hardest part of the ring. All right, he took a flip, and I think he was supposed to land on the outside, but before he got to the outside, his face collided with the ring apron, man, and it looked ugly. It looked ugly, man. I hope he's okay from that. He got up. He had blood in his mouth. He probably busted a lip against one of his teeth or something. But, man, what a spot. What a spot by Rich Swann. I hope he's okay from that. Callihan spikes Deonna with the Cactus Driver 97. But Angels stops the momentum. Swann rolls up Angels to score the victory. 10-minute match, and we have Swann and Jay Christ and Sami Callihan with the win here tonight. Not a bad match. I like Sami Callihan's intensity. I do. He seems like one of those guys that is on 0 or 10. There is just no in between for Callihan. Rich Swann is just as good as I remember him in WWE. They are showing and promoting this big time friendship between Sami Callihan and Rich Swann. So it makes me wonder where this is going. If this is gonna be headed to a blood feud with one of them turning, or they're gonna keep going as a tag team. Or are they going to add Jay Christ? I don't know if Jay Christ is here full time now or if this was a one-off. So we shall see. But for my money, I would like to see Sami Callihan and Rich Swann. I don't know if that's something that's already happened in the past or not. Again, bear with me, guys. If you're unfamiliar with me and what I do here, this is basically my first run at watching Impact. And I'm giving everyone my perspective of what everything looks like to me as a first-time fan. So we shall see, man. Very interesting stuff. Very interesting stuff. We have Trinity versus Gisele Shaw with Jay Vidal and Savannah Evans. Very unfamiliar with Savannah Evans. Reminds me of a mixture of a cross between China and the Big Boss Man. Dead serious. Trinity makes her Impact Plus debut. This is her first pay-per-view with Impact. You know, all eyes are on Trinity. They have put a lot of promotion into Trinity signing with the company, as they should. She's a very, very high-profile wrestler from a very high-profile family in this business. So it would be in their best interest to make sure they treat her like the star that she is. Trinity makes her Impact debut. Excuse me. She gains an early advantage with the running leg drop. And then right away, Shaw retreats to the outside to regain her composure. Gisele Shaw does not come off as a pro wrestler to me. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but Gisele Shaw comes off as a diva. You know, completely. I understand that's a part of her gimmick and everything else. But to my understanding, the Knockouts division in Impact were full of wrestlers in the women's division. But Shaw, to me, comes off as a total diva because Trinity just basically has her way with her. And if that is the case, then that's the way it should have been then. Let's see. Trinity catapults Shaw out of the corner as Shaw takes another breather. Trinity brings the fight to the outside where she leaps over Savannah Evans to get to Shaw. Jay Vidal distracts the referee, allowing Evans to pull Trinity off the apron. Shaw slaps her across the face and then plants Trinity into the mat. Shaw hits a running corkscrew clothesline for 2. Trinity builds momentum with a backbreaker and then follows up with a flurry of strikes. Trinity spikes Shaw head first with the head scissors for 2. Trinity hits a split leg moonsault, but Shaw kicks out. Shaw bounces back with a draping DDT as Trinity barely kicks out before the referee counts 3. Trinity takes out Vidal and Evans and then locks in the Starstruck on Shaw and win by submission. 10 minutes. Trinity gets the easy win. And that's pretty much what you would expect to see from a match with Trinity and Gisele Shaw, from what I can tell, is nowhere near one of the best in-ring workers in the Knockouts division. Next up, we have the Impact World Tag Team Champions, ABC, Ace Austin and Chris Bay, versus SubCulture, Mark Andrews and Flash Morgan Webster, with Dani Luna on the outside. Dani Luna. Shout out to Tony Brown. Shout out to Tony Brown, man. We get into it. Ace Austin drives Webster face first into the canvas for a 2 count. ABC isolate Webster as they cut off the ring and prevent him from making the tag. Andrews quickens the pace as he hits a double Pele on Bay and Austin. It's very impressive. Andrews gets two for 1 as he spikes ABC with a double DDT. Andrews flies to the floor with a springboard moonsault to Bay. Back into the ring. Andrews hits Code Red onto Austin to turn it around. Webster makes a blind tag as Andrews assists him with a Falcon Arrow to Austin. Austin avoids the shooting star from Andrews, then takes him off his feet with a springboard missile drop kick. Chris Bay hits Webster with a swinging net breaker, but Andrews breaks the pin attempt. Webster soars off the top ring post, colliding with ABC onto the floor. Andrews hits a stun dog millionaire, followed by a top rope senton from Webster on the Bay with a kick out after the pin attempt. Webster inadvertently knees his own partner, allowing Bay to capitalize with a double poison Rana on both of his opponents. ABC hit Art of Finesse, followed by the Fold to pin Andrews and remain Impact Tag Team Champions. 12 minutes. Nice match, man. What a match. This was an incredible tag team match. I must say. The action was insane. Chris Bay is a star. Chris Bay is a star, man. I mean, I don't know what else to say. That guy is going to be going places, man. Sincerely, he will be going places. I did like this match. I like ABC as tag champions. Just great stuff out of them. SubCulture was great. I don't know if they're staying. I don't know if they are was here for just this one-off. But either way, I hope they stay. And if they do, for the love of God, please bring Dani Luna with you. I took a minute to go and look at a Dani Luna match. I watched Dani Luna versus Toni Storm. My God. Shout out to Tony Brown, man. But nonetheless, Dani Luna can go. She can go. And I've learned this yesterday, and man, hope she stays, man. I hope she stays. X Division Championship on the line. Trey Miguel versus Chris Sabin. This is another fantastic match. Miguel retreats to the outside and thinks he's outsmarted Sabin, but Sabin follows him and hits him with a running kick off the apron. Sabin ties up Miguel in a tree of woe and delivers a running hesitation drop kick. Miguel uses his quickness to connect with a kick to gain control. Miguel hits a back suplex on the hardest part of the ring, apparently, followed by a running knee drop to the chest. Miguel locks in the guillotine choke, and Sabin makes it to the bottom rope so they break up the hold. Sabin hits a quick DDT out of the corner to create much needed separation, because Sabin then hits a strong missile drop kick followed by a modified flatliner for 2. Miguel counters with a cradle shock, and both men are down. Miguel spikes him with a brain buster, but that's still not enough. And that was a sick brain buster, man. He dropped him right on his head. Sabin evades the Meteora attempt and targets the legs of Miguel. Sabin locks in a sharpshooter, but Miguel breaks the hold. We are in Canada, indeed, on this evening, and you can't go to a show in Canada without putting in a sharpshooter. I think we get at least 3 sharpshooters here tonight throughout the course of the night. I don't know what it is, man, but it's like you're in Canada, sharpshooter. And the crowd pops for it every time. Oh my God, it's a sharpshooter. That's a Canadian move. It's getting a little bit overdone. Miguel successfully hits the Meteora for a very close near fall. Miguel leaps through the ropes and hits a tornado DDT onto the floor. Miguel crashes and burns on another Meteora attempt. Sabin connects with the Canadian Destroyer, because we're in Canada. But Miguel rakes the eyes to avoid the cradle shock. Sabin is blinded as Miguel drop kicks him into the referee. Sabin has him beat with the cradle shock, but the referee is down. Miguel sprays paint into the eyes of Sabin with the referee not looking, rolls him up to escape with the title and the win. 20 minutes. Trey Miguel retains. with the nefarious means. I'm not sure. Well, I'll tell you right now, I never watched Trey Miguel as a babyface work, but I can guarantee you that he never had to cheat to win as a babyface. It really does feel like they are really, really, really trying their best to sell Trey Miguel as a heel. Like, he's doing his best to get all of the cheap heat, you know. But heel heat is one of those things that will only show up organically. It'll only show up organically. You can't force it. It's not going to work that way. You got to just let it be, bruh. You got to kind of just let it be. So let's see here. There we go. Next up, we have Moose versus Eddie Edwards versus Jonathan Gresham versus Yuya Uemura versus Alex Shelley versus Frankie Kazarian for the number one contenders match of the World Heavyweight title. So obviously the winner goes on to face what we now know is Steve Macklin for the World Heavyweight title. Here we go. Match starts. Kazarian immediately goes for Edwards. Shelley gives everyone a dragon screw leg whip, then locks in a double Boston Crab on the Kazarian and Uemura. Excuse me. Frankie redirects Edwards through the ropes as he takes out Moose with a dive. Edwards drops Gresham with a modified back suplex before he resumes his fight with Kazarian. Moments later, Kazarian hits a springboard leg drop onto Edwards. Kazarian hits a backstabber on the Gresham, which leads to a flatliner from Shelley, driving him to the turnbuckle. Moose plants Edwards with a Uranage and then hits a tremendous powerbomb onto Uemura. I mean, again, man, these powerbombs, man, they drive them here. I mean, especially Moose. They drive their power bombs here. They want to make sure you land all the way through the mat if they can, man. Moose gives Kazarian a power bomb of his own and then one for Gresham as well. Uemura avoids the spear from Moose, allowing him to capitalize with a bulldog for a 2 count. Moose almost puts Uemura away with a sky high, but Shelley breaks the pin. Kazarian locks in the chicken wing on Uemura, but Edwards breaks it up with the Boston knee party. I thought that was going to be it. I thought Frankie was going to take it. Frankie was my pick. Frankie was my pick for the win. I thought that was going to be it right there, but it was not. Shelley hits Shell Shock onto Uemura to win the match and become the number one contender for the Impact World title. 12 minutes. Very nice match. So it's a big cluster, as you could imagine, with all these guys in the ring at one time. But it was okay. It was okay. It got us to the number one contender. I don't necessarily know how these guys managed to get into this opportunity for this match. That doesn't mean it wasn't explained. It just means I didn't pick up on it myself. But all in all, at the end of the day, it was okay. You know, it was cool. Chris Sabin attacks Trey Miguel backstage after he cheated to retain his X Division title. It looks like this feud is not over between Sabin and Miguel. Knockouts World Champion Deonna Purrazzo versus Jordynne Grace. If Jordynne Grace loses, she can no longer challenge Purrazzo for the Knockouts World title as long as Purrazzo is champion. Interesting. We know how this turns out. We all saw the headlines in the news this morning. Jordynne Grace is a free agent. I have no idea if she has offers on the table. I have no idea if she plans on going anywhere. She might stay where she is. She might go to the E. She might go to AEW. If I'm going to be honest, I don't see her. I don't see her faring very well in AEW. if I'm going to be honest. I think they already have a Jordynne Grace in AEW. They named her Jade Cargill. And I think that would be too similar of those gimmicks together. I think Grace would have a better chance to shine in WWE, if I'm being honest. But we'll see. We'll see where she decides to go. All right, we have Jordynne Grace starts off pummeling on the Virtuosa with a series of fists early on. Purrazzo snaps the neck of Grace as she hangs her up with a modified neck breaker. Purrazzo launches herself off the apron with a senton to the floor. Grace uses her brute strength to launch Purrazzo into the top rope. Grace hits a German suplex into the bridge for a 2 count. Grace clotheslines her over the top rope as both knockouts topple to the outside. They end up back into the ring. Purrazzo fights back with a side Russian leg sweep. She locks in the Fujiwara armbar. Grace quickly breaks free and gets caught with more offense from Purrazzo. Grace hits a spinning sit-out powerbomb. Very clean. Very nice powerbomb from Jordynne Grace. Purrazzo spikes Grace with a power driver, but it's not enough. Grace connects with a juggernaut jackhammer for a very near fall. Purrazzo puts her away with the Queen's Gambit in the center of the ring. Both women are down in sync, right hands. Purrazzo hits a super Queen's Gambit from the top to retain the Knockouts World title. 13 minutes. Very decent match. I don't think it was anything spectacular, but it was a very good match. I think it was more about the story being told and the fact that now Jordynne Grace is not allowed to challenge for the Impact World title as long as Deonna Purrazzo is champion. Commentary kind of put it over that, they didn't come out and say that Jordynne Grace was going to be leaving, but they did kind of make it sound like she had no direction. They didn't know what was going to happen with her. They didn't know what she was going to do from here because she earlier stated that if she's not the best, then what exactly is she? Apparently she was a lost soul without being a champion. And here she lost her last chance to be a champion for the foreseeable future. So apparently this could lead to Jordynne Grace adventuring out of Impact. I don't know what I would like to see. To be honest with you, I think Jordynne Grace has more value here in Impact than anywhere else. But I could see her wanting to try other avenues at the same time. So either way, I'll be interested to see what she does, where she goes, and how she manages from here on out. Impact World Championship. Steve Macklin versus Perfect Creation 1, a.k.a. PCO, in a no disqualification match for the Impact World title. Guys, this one was a bloodbath. This was easily, I'm trying to think back. This was probably easily one of the bloodiest matches I've ever seen. Ever. There was blood all over the place. You legit saw puddles, actual puddles, full of Steve Macklin's blood all over the floor, the ring. They cut to a shot on the outside where Steve was down, and my God, man, it looked like someone poured a bucket of blood out. I legitimately wondered how in the hell Steve Macklin could continue this match without passing out from blood loss. It was everywhere. I am not exaggerating this. It was everywhere. Everyone that touches it came anywhere close to Macklin was a bloody mess, and it was all Macklin's blood for the most part. It was crazy, man. PCO hurls his body towards Macklin as they both crash over the top rope. PCO launches himself through the air, colliding with Macklin onto the floor. Macklin hits a vertical suplex as the lower back of PCO is driven into the steel steps. So they were on the outside, and Macklin does a suplex to PCO, and like his lower back looks like it hit right on the edge of the lower step of the steel stairs. That had to hurt. That had to hurt. Every time I see PCO in a high impact spot, it just hurts to watch. It hurt. And I'm sitting here looking like, oh, it hurts to watch, man. This has to be someone's grandfather out there. I mean, oh my God, it was brutal. Macklin hits him over the head with a cooking tray. And I mean, he whacked him pretty good with this tray, man. I mean, you know that whole ordeal with, no headshots in WWE with chairs and all that. Not here, bruh. Not here, bruh. They bring the chairs here, man. They bring the chairs here. Let's see. Macklin is busted open as PCO smashes him with a trash can. He hits him with a trash can square in the top of the head. And then right away, you can see Macklin goes to do the blade job. But then I saw a report that said Macklin got cut open hard way. I'm telling you, I saw Steve Macklin blade. I saw him blade, then I saw the gash on his head too. My God. I saw him blade, I saw the camera cut away and only focus on PCO, who was doing nothing. Very typical. I saw the referee watching and paying attention to Macklin. That was a blade job. It looked like it could have been easily hard way, but that was a definite blade job. PCO is about to use a staple gun when Macklin delivers a low blow and cracks him in the back with a steel chair. Macklin jumps off the second rope with the steel chair in hand, driving it into the face and chest of PCO. PCO is caught in the crosshairs, but it's not enough because Macklin took the staple gun and Macklin proceeds to staple PCO's mouth shut. Guys, you heard me right. He legitimately stapled his mouth shut with a staple gun. Live. And my God, was it just so brutal. He legitimately looked like Frankenstein at this point. He stapled the guy's mouth shut. Oh. My God, man. I mean, I tweeted last night, Moxley has nothing on Macklin and everything else, but PCO, man, I sit here and say how the guy is getting up there and everything else, but my God, that was insane. PCO then gets a pair of pliers. Guys, listen to this. PCO gets a pair of pliers and starts plucking the staples out of his mouth. You can see the staples connecting with his top and bottom lips. It was the absolute grossest thing I've ever seen. This guy gets a pair of pliers and starts plucking staples out of his lips. My God, man. At this point, Steve Macklin is a complete Crimson Mask. Bro, you have to go back and watch this. Steve Macklin is completely red all over the face, everywhere. There's blood pouring out of his head. When he turns, blood just, he is he looked worse. He looked worse than Steve Austin and Bret Hart in WrestleMania, what was it, 13. My God, it was insane. It was insane. Oh my God. Macklin then lays concrete bricks over the back of PCO, the same way he did last week, when he put a couple of slabs of concrete bricks and got the sledgehammer and smashed him over the back. He did it again. This old man, literally, man, this guy is getting killed out there. What is he doing? Clearly, the focus and the goal of this match was to get Steve Macklin over as a killer. And if that's the case, fine. Mission accomplished. PCO did his job, man, because, geez. PCO, after all of that sledgehammer in the back, he sits up. This guy gets up and takes the fight to Macklin. He hits a lung blower out of the corner, followed by a leg drop to the back of the neck. PCO connects with the de-animator on the apron. Macklin comes back with a steel chair shot. Macklin pulls him back first into the hardest part of the ring. Macklin then hits a Kai into the air for he gets a Kai on a pair of cinder blocks to win and remain Impact World Champion. 15 minutes. It was insane. That was insane. That was the bloodiest match that I can remember seeing. I mean, fine. If I'm gonna pick something that was probably bloodier, I'm looking at an Abdullah the Butcher match from the 80s or something. That's how bloody this was. That's how insanely bloody this was. This was complete. You got people who go on Twitter and complain when Moxley bleeds in AEW. My God, I am so glad those people didn't watch this, man, because they would have had an aneurysm. They would have just blown up, man, because this was insane. Steve Macklin retains. After the match, Macklin demands that Impact President Scott D'Amore comes out to the ring and straps the world title around his waist as it was promised last week if Macklin won. Scott D'Amore came out again with his baller ass music, man. Scott D'Amore. D'Amore went to go shake his hand. Macklin says, "Nah, I don't want to shake your hand, man. Fuck out of here." But Scott D'Amore did strap the title around his waist as he promised. But then, out of nowhere, Bully Ray shows up into the ring, blindsides Scott D'Amore, and chokes him out as Macklin just watches on. Just like, okay. Bully tells Macklin to get the table very quietly and stoically. He didn't do it in the Devon, get the table. No, none of that. Macklin was outside of the ring. Bully Ray went to the ropes, looked at Macklin and was like, get the table. Macklin's like, I like your style. Macklin goes, gets the table, puts the table in the ring. They set the table up. Bully Ray pulls out a can of lighter fluid. And begins to spray the table with the lighter fluid. It's going to be one of those nights. Bully Ray blindsides D'Amore and he chokes him out. He was already choked out. And then Matthew showed up. The Aiden English, I'm sorry. Called him Matthew by mistake. Who the fuck is Matthews? Aiden English. Aiden English immediately drops his headset and jumps into the ring like, whoa, 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 whoa. What the fuck are you guys doing here? What are we doing here? Right away, Bully Ray douses Aiden in lighter fluid as Macklin takes him out. PCO gets back on his feet, but Macklin continues to assault him as well. Then, all of a sudden, in comes the Motor City Machine Guns. They hit the ring, and they get their asses kicked as well. No one can help. They get their asses kicked as well. Bully lights the table on fire. I mean, he poured every drop of fluid he had onto that table. He lit the table on fire and then powerbombed Scott D'Amore into the flames. Bully Ray vows to take Scott D'Amore and the whole company down as he stands tall with Steve Macklin. And we fade to black. That's the end of the show. There was a lot of stuff going on at the end of this. And, you know, for me, going into this, I just was not interested in seeing PCO compete for the world title. I think Impact did a good job at giving us the match that they advertised, but then making it much bigger and much better than anyone would have anticipated. So for that, I can appreciate it. Very, very, very nice match. That is the show. That is the show, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. If you guys watched it, let me know what you guys thought about it. If not, let me know what you thought about the review in the comments. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. Let's get into a quick, because it's about to start right now, a quick Night of Champions predictions. We have the SmackDown Women's Championship. Rhea Ripley versus Natalya. I'm going to go with Rhea Ripley. Just a guess. Becky Lynch versus Trish Stratus. I'm going to go with Becky on that one. I'm not sure what they're doing with Trish, but it is not exciting. It's not exciting, man. I do not like this heel Trish gimmick. It is not fun. Heel Trish is just about pretty much worse than heel Becky. I mean, it's bad. It is bad. Raw Women's Championship. Bianca Belair versus Asuka. I think we can look forward to another Asuka L on this one. Absolutely. I don't think they're going to beat Bianca Belair just yet. Intercontinental Champion Gunther versus Mustafa Ali. You okay? Okay. Easily Gunther. Undisputed Tag Team Championship match. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn versus Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa. That has to be the most interesting match of the evening, or the afternoon, I guess, evening for them. I don't think they're going to go with Roman 4 belts. No. Wait, all right, no. If they come up with Roman 4 belts, then they have to beat him for those belts. And they don't like beating them. So I'm going to say that Solo's going to take the pin on this one. And Sami and KO will retain. We have Cody versus Brock Lesnar in the most uninteresting match of the night. I'm going to have to go with Brock Lesnar on this one, man. I have to go with Brock Lesnar on that one. They seem to have beat the crap out of Cody. They seem to have beat the holy crap out of Cody and give him a reason to lose. World Heavyweight Championship. Seth Rollins versus the phenomenal AJ Styles. Interesting. I've heard all of the dirt. I heard all of the rumors back and forth on this one. I think this is a no-brainer. I think we see Seth Rollins as the inaugural hand-me-down, can't beat Roman champion. I'm sorry. I see WWE trying so hard to do damage control as far as this title they created, but it only comes off as a secondary title because they don't want to beat Roman. That's just the way it comes off. I am sorry. Guys, that is today's show. Thank you so much. Ran a little bit over, a couple of minutes over. I see Night of Champions is getting ready to start. Let's get into these super chats real quickly so that you guys can get to Afternoon of Champions. All right. I have Miss Carita 1. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that, but the £5 super chat says, hi from Germany. Enjoying your work. Keep it up. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Raging Girl Gamer with the 11 months. Says 11 months with the Taco Crew. Thank you so much, Rage. I appreciate you. Susan D, head of talent relations with the 11 months, says, I like to say thanks, everyone, for all the love and support you guys showed me when I tweeted about my mother's birthday and me really missing her. Susan, shout out to you. Shout out to you, Susan. You've been such a loyal viewer here, and I entirely appreciate everything you do, and I hope nothing but great things come to you going forward. So sorry to hear, but hang in there. Hang in there. Gravity Guy with the 550 Canadian says, hey, Jesse, what's your thoughts on Mercedes' injury? I think she's hurt. I don't know how severe it is. I wish I knew, so then I could go back to fantasy booking her in Forbidden Door. But I don't know. It's been confirmed that pretty much TK said that he has had talks with her. He's had talks with her, so I don't know. I don't know how severe it is. I know it's an ankle. Ankles don't normally, depending on the severity, they don't normally keep you out for too long. But again, the most important thing here is the severity of it. All right. So what else do we have here? Guardian with the 1999 super chat. My second dono, boss man, towards Wembley. Pray you get to go. Much rather watch ROH over mid-pack. Just my opinion. I respect all who get in the ring. Thank you so much, Guardian. That is awesome, man. I appreciate you. Let's see. We have Rick Morty with the $9.99 super chat. You really enjoyed the show? ABC, really enjoyed the show. ABC is great. Man, they need bigger exposure. I'm thinking AEW. Chris Bay, definitely a star. Ace is underrated. I entirely agree. I agree with everything there. I think Ace is very underrated. I think Chris Bay is a star and everyone knows it. So I cannot wait to see what they do going forward. Guys, that is today's show. I want to thank you all for being here and spending your Saturday afternoon with me. I cannot ask for anything more, man. Go enjoy Night of Champions. Maybe I'll get around to watching some of it. Maybe I'll watch it a little bit later this evening. Not sure. But we shall see. We shall see. Thank you guys so much. Join me tomorrow with JD for the Double or Nothing post-show review. I will see you guys next time. Thank you so much. Peace.